Mike, the early season GM meetings in Montreal are approaching. What is on the agenda?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few items this year. Obviously, the NHL took a harder look at cracking down on slashing and slashing penalties. They're going to look at the success of that, as well as the face-off penalties that everyone is kind of being driven crazy over in terms of what is a penalty and
Do you know
what's
what
not.
is and what isn't a penalty?
No. Most centers don't even know it.
Yeah.
So those are the two main items in terms of are we going far enough with it? Should we pull back a bit? My guess is most teams are happy that we are cracking down on a lot of slashing calls. But the major topics really are just kind of looking at how the coaches' challenges are being used. Obviously, now you're getting penalized if a coach's challenge is incorrect and
Right.
you only get one per game. There's going to be a lot of discussion about that. But the interesting
Give me interest.
Here's the one interesting thing I found is in overtime, whether we should go from a 2-minute penalty, 4-on-3, to a 1-minute penalty. And I think that is a really interesting idea. When you're talking about really overtime is only 5 minutes and you're already in 3-on-3 hockey, a 2-minute penalty is really severe. So some GMs are already floating the idea as to maybe we should cut that down to 1 minute.
Why don't they just go a step further and do 3-on-2 for 1 minute?
Oh, boy.
What do you think about that?
I think you're going to see a lot more goals if you go that way. But you know what? I don't know. I guess anything to avoid a shootout, and maybe that's the idea behind this, is just they're trying to figure out how to make it fair, but also how to end games before that shootout time. Yeah,
the league is always trying to tweak and fix and change. I hope they don't change too much, because I feel like that is a thing that I dislike about hockey in the National Hockey League, is like you can't even think straight because you don't know what they've changed season to season. But I like the slashing rule.
Yeah.
Maybe the face-offs is something that they tweak.
Yeah, you know what? I think ultimately with the slashing and the face-off rules is just looking at the first 20 games, we're seeing a lot more power play opportunities.
Yes.
Because of that, we're seeing a lot more power play goals, which means there's an increase in offense. And I think that's ultimately where the NHL wants to get to. Whether it's 5-on-5 goals or power play goals, they just want more goals. So that's one thing I'm always going to keep my eye on, is whether refs put away the whistle as we get further on into the season, or if players even just kind of get wise and say, you know what, I got a slashing penalty last time I did this, so I better not slash a guy. And you know what, maybe the result of that is also a player is wheeling around you and scoring a goal, whereas normally you chop him in the hands and he'd lose the puck. So I think ultimately they just want to see more goals, and I'm with you. I don't want to see too much tinkering, but if they're going to call the rules by the rule book, that's fine by me.
I'm interested in 3-on-2 OT. So why don't we start the petition? For Michael Traikos and Post Media, I'm John Matisz.